Hi, this is Brent Pontes coming to you from Harlow Lake in Marquette, Michigan. I'm with crankjoy.com, and today we're going to be testing different tire sizes and their effect on rolling efficiency, climbing efficiency, and overall pace. It's kind of something that you wouldn't think we would have been doing maybe 10 years ago when everybody was running 2.1 tires in cross country. 2.25 were the norm for downhill and enduro and trail riding. However, there have been some studies showing that maybe higher volume is faster, maybe wider is faster. Is there a compromise for climbing and weight? These questions I've been curious about. I think a lot of people have. I've seen some forum talk about whether or not it's faster. Some people absolutely deny it. How could a 2.8 be faster than a 2.25? It's heavier. It has more traction, so it rolls slower. I don't know. I want to know for myself, and I hope you want to know too. So today's test will be with like wheels and like tires. So wheels are provided for the test by Envy Composites. They're 6 series rims. Tires are provided by Schwalbe. The reason we chose Schwalbe is because they make the Knobby Nick, which is available in the same compound and same casing for the 3 sizes on test today. With one exception, we'll get to that in a minute. So the tires on test, 27.5 by 2.8, widely known as 27 plus. 29 by 2.35 and 29 by 2.6. So we have a 27.5 high volume, 29 medium volume, and a 29. Pretty much the go-to status quo standard right now of 2.35. So with that, I'll show you the setup and the tires and wheels that we're running today. This is the test bike for today. It was chosen because it can run all the wheel sizes on test, all the tire sizes on test. It is a Y-Cycles S7. It is a all titanium frame, a lot of forming, actually a very beautiful frame. I've owned this bike for about 3 years now, and I love it. It's very versatile. You can use it for bike packing, for XC racing. It's got some trail geometry. 67.5 degree head tube angle, I believe, or 68. Has a dropper post, long reach, medium reach, 460 millimeters on size large. The thing that makes this bike really good for this test is that it will fit all the tires we have today. So how can we do it? Sliding dropouts and lots of tire clearance. So what we're doing is we're going to keep it in this position. This is preset. This is what will fit the 29 by 2.6. Another thing about the bike is that it does have a substantial bottom bracket drop, which means that it doesn't kind of get out of sorts when we put a bigger wheel and tire on it. We can run a 29 by 2.6, and the bottom bracket is still a really reasonable height. What we've done is pair the tire width with what we feel is the best wheel width for that tire. So what we have are these 27.5 by 2.8 on 40 millimeter internal width wheels, rims. On the 29 by 2.6, we have again the NV6 series on 35 millimeter internal width rims. And on the 29 by 2.35, we've paired them to a 30 millimeter internal width rim. So these are what we think are the ideal setup. I've spent some time riding each combination and determined the pressures that I feel are best for my riding. Where I've arrived are for the 27.5 plus tires, I'm running 14 front and 16 rear. On the 29 by 2.6, I'm running 17 front and 20 rear. And on the 29 by 2.35, I'm running 20 front and 24 rear. These pressures are where I felt were the best balance of traction, rolling resistance, and to be honest, about as low as I could go without hitting the rim. So I wanted to make sure we're not hitting the rim. We're running realistic pressures and pressures that are what most people would run by ride feel. This is where I run these tires and what the pressures I prefer them. So with that, we'll get to the ride test. All right, so I just finished the first 3 laps. Each tire has been ridden once. I'm gonna go out and run them in the reverse order. But here are my impressions after the first. It's that 27.5 is probably the most fun. It just has a playful nature to it. It is forgiving, absorbs a little more shock, kind of pumping into corners more. Between 29.26 and 29.235, I'd say that the speed's probably about the same. The 235 is a little more fun, and the 2.6 is all business. So let's see how they go on the second round of laps. Well, I just wrapped up testing of the different wheel sizes. Started with 27.5 plus, then went to the 29 by 2.6, then the 29 by 2.35. Took a short break and then ran all 3 again, but in reverse order. So it was pretty telling and pretty surprising. I thought I was going to like 29 2.6 the most, but to be honest, the 27.5 plus was my favorite. It was the most fun. I don't know that it lost anything to speed. We'll find out. We'll have to crunch some numbers. But some of the things I liked about it, it was smoother. It was easier. It had more traction. I felt that even when pressed hard, it responded better. There was some precision with the 29.235. That was kind of nice. It felt fast. I'm not sure it was. Accelerated pretty quickly. But it was a choppier ride, and I think that kind of took some of the fun out of it. Maybe on a full suspension bike, I'd feel a little bit differently about the 2.35. But as far as this test goes, I think 27.5 plus was the most fun. 29 by 2.6 was kind of a steamroller, which was kind of cool in some places, but I didn't feel like the advantage was as big as I thought it was going to be when it came to smoothing out the bumps, as opposed to the 27.5 plus. So as far as speed, I don't know if there's anything between them. We'll have to find out. Go back, crunch some numbers. I do have a Stages power meter on this bike, so that could be pretty telling. I did have a little bit of trouble holding power on a couple of the segments, so we'll see how close I got. Hopefully close enough to make a comparison. Otherwise, let's go crunch the numbers and enjoy the view here from top of the world at Harlow State Recreation Area in Michigan.